I lied. I was trying to be a cool guy.
Liar!
Oh well. Of course.
Nice trick, liar!
When Josh Strife Hayes dropped his video about Anarchy Online, I kind of knew it was going to be mean. I knew it was going to be negative. The game is old. The player base is me and I think 12 other people. It's aggressively abrasive to new players, and it's, even in its heyday, kind of a niche thing in the first place, so that hasn't gotten any better. I didn't expect him to like it, but what I was shocked by is 30 straight minutes of material falsities. Now, I had wrote and recorded an entire video. I captured this footage for that, and a lot more of it too. But what then got me is, in an unprecedented move, he made a second follow-up video. And that, I thought, well, he got called out. He had a bit of a crash out on live stream. He's gonna, move on with his life and maybe say the game can be fun, but it's not for me, which is still fair. What I didn't expect was 40 more minutes of him complaining that the Anarchy Online player base is full of overly attached, obsessive babies. And I take that shit personally. See, I don't play Anarchy Online because I don't have anything better to do. I play other games. I play lots of other games. I play games with my children because I'm an adult who has children. I don't play Anarchy Online because I'm emotionally attached to my home of 20 years. I play Anarchy Online because there's nothing else like it. It is a unique MMO. So I watched Josh's video again, recorded new audio, that's what you're listening to now, and we're going to go through not just his video, but every single one of his fucking lies. I made a list.
I'm going to have to go tell the world exactly what's on the list.
You can put everything Josh has to say about Anarchy Online into three broad categories. From most legitimate to least legitimate, you have reasonable critiques, grievances, and lies. So let's just go through the easy stuff, and then we'll have our dessert with the fun stuff. Reasonable critiques. He says there are aggressive cash shop monetizations. How dare a free game try to make money? The game is old, so therefore it is clunky and ugly and has a very dated, matrixy aesthetic. This is a totally reasonable critique. I like it, but I'm also old and have some type of mental autism on account of, I'm playing Anarchy Online, and to anyone who wants to cancel me, I have diagnosed autism, and you have to prove that I don't if you want to attack me on my psychology. So, fuck you, this is what bad faith is like. He says the game is poorly explained, which I think is totally fine. That is a very true statement. Even when I first got into it, it was very poorly explained. He says, therefore, it is not friendly to new players, which I think is reasonable. The new player experience for Anarchy Online has always been kind of tricky. It takes a lot of assumed knowledge.
Haven't you ever been playing a game and you're just like, what do I do? Where do I go? That's what I'm talking about. That's bad conveyance.
Conveyance is sort of the word of the day here. And following right into that, he makes multiple mentions that the game doesn't clearly explain what he's supposed to be doing. It's not giving him pointers, map markers, really anything notable as far as an overall objective goes. And then lastly, it's totally reasonable to critique this game for just not having anyone on it. Again, the player base is maybe just me sometimes, so I totally feel him in that the no one is online reasonable critique. As far as grievances goes, we'll just power through this list because we're getting close to the good stuff. Class descriptions aren't even close to how much classes can really do. Anarchy Online doesn't use a modern game design language. It's not a WoW clone. There are huge text dumps to explain the game, what you're supposed to do, and how you're supposed to play it. The map is a giant connected world map. There is no walkthrough tutorial or explanation on what it is or how to get there or why it exists. There are massive amounts of skills to level. They're very overlapping and have nesting systems within them. The game from root to stem is designed to be played as a group. Your class and even your race are going to have a lot of weaknesses that are going to be made up by other people's strengths. And if you don't have those other people, the game is very difficult. It's just going to be difficult. At 3 minutes, 25 seconds, he says, and I'm just quoting him, customization is so deep, it's overwhelming, which is a grievance. He also has a little bit of a gripe with the implant system as a whole, complaining that each one has 3 boosts, and these boosts are just a lot to get through. It is a bunch. Fair play to him. And also he says quite a lot that the game, again, doesn't really tell you what to do. This is both a reasonable critique of the game and a grievance he has with the game, but the grievance list is a little special. We're going to come back to it, don't worry. So now, it's time to get into the lies.
Nice trick, liar.
We're going to just cover the shit he says in video 1, because video 2 is at least materially correct about the game. He did take a lot of shots at the player base, which I'm not taking personally, but I do think is in overall bad faith. So without further ado here, at 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Ease of access, early game impact, readability, respecking, visual overhauls, mechanical impact.
This is your skill window. This is your respec point. This is your ability to respec individual skills. These are given to you at level 1. This is a second character I made and put in the new starting zone specifically to point this out.
Nice trick, liar.
At 4 minutes, he says,
When the depth is obscured by the terrible onboarding that a regular player will never get to see it, simply can't continue. If the depth of systems is a vital and impressive part of your game and you're using it in marketing, then front load it and be excited to show its impact early on to new players.
The game is constantly asking you to put points into your skills, to choose what to level up and how you want to level them. He's actively not engaging with this system. When a game tries to get you to play it by giving you small, very achievable tasks within the game's design world so that you have to learn how to play the game by actually playing it.
Term used a lot for this concept is conveyance, and I think that's a fitting name.
At 9 minutes and 40 seconds, he says,
I don't meet one of the multiple proficiency requirements to use them, despite being given them in the tutorial specifically to be used here.
What? Yes, you do. And I don't mean that he doesn't have enough skills to use items, i.e. he's not engaging with the skill system. I mean he doesn't have enough skills to use items, i.e. he does have enough IP. These are improvement points. These are how you increase your skills. He absolutely has enough of those to increase his items, to increase his skills to use those items. The requirements are low on purpose. His base skill set is actually lower than those are because the game wants you to know that you need to level up your skills to increase your skills in order to use things, because that'll be important later. It is the entire game. It is Anarchy Online. So saying that you don't have enough skills when you absolutely have thousands and thousands of IP you're just not bothering to allocate is a material falsity.
Nice trick, liar.
At 10 minutes even, he says sit is only accessible through the menus.
Click the action button, then general, then sit. While sitting, if you press W, A, S, or D to move, you will not move. You won't even begin the animation of getting back up.
See, right here on his quick bar, this is the sit icon. You can just click that to sit. It would be also done by pressing the number 3. So yeah, it's not only accessible through menus. You can click it. He could have clicked it. He knows how to play an MMO. He's played 89 of them. At this point, he's at least tangentially aware of what a hotbar is and has probably used it. Also, all those help tutorial boxes of text that he was not bothering to read explain that. So, no, it's not that no one is telling him what to do. He's actively ignoring the game telling him to do stuff so he can complain about it.
Nice trick, liar.
At 10 minutes, 30 seconds, he's
Open the pack and can't use any of them except the utility skill boosting one.
this is a lie.
Nice trick, liar.
Because again, the game has given him thousands and thousands of IP to allocate, and it's begging him with items and skills and all sorts of experiences to please, for the love of God, open your skill window and increase literally anything. Just please, Christ, please, will you click the plus button on any of this? And when a game tries to teach you how to play it by giving you small little tasks that you play it through.
Term used a lot for this concept is conveyance, And I think that's a fitting name. See, this entire situation is teaching you all the rules of the game. And do you feel like you're in school yet? Do you feel like Mrs. Terwilliger's gonna give you detention for playing video games in class? No, you feel like you're playing a game, stupid!
At 12 minutes and 24 seconds into his video, Josh Strife Hayes well and truly crosses the Rubicon on bad faith take, or, you know, maybe missing the point, into intentional slander. Were I Funcom, and could I make an argument that this video impacted my profits, I straight up could sue him for this. There's a lot that's borderline forgivable about his video full of fucking lies. But this is what inspired me to make the video, because it's fucking bullshit at a level that I find to be surprising, even for a man that's engaging in this much of a bad faith job. So what is 1224?
Is this. I then try to trade the item to the quest giver to complete it, but silly me, the item is still in the overflow window. All I need to do is open the overflow window, move it to my regular inventory, now I have space, and then trade it over. So how do you manually open the item overflow window? You can't. You just straight up can't.
On the surface, he forces an overflow glitch so he can complain and sarcastically mock the game's lack of depth and complexity. Roll clip.
Oh, it's such a deep game. Admire the deep mechanics, like having to exploit the game's code to open an inventory window you can lose vital things in.
That's no big deal, right? Whatever, we're just having fun. It's just jokes. Here's the thing. This mush of brown pixels is an item. It's called robot junk. It's garbage that's meant to be sold. And he shopped at all the shops that the shops asked him to shop at, where all the shops were. He was told in innumerable different places to go to shops and shop at shops. The whole time, he had robot junk in his inventory. This quest chain is actually unbroken from robot junk. So he knowingly kept robot junk in his inventory after all of his shop chains to go and force an overflow glitch. Now, force an overflow glitch. Well, not too big of a deal. See, but then he creates the problem by closing the overflow window, and then has to go research third-party guides to complain about how to solve his overflow window glitch. And it is at this point we can learn some things. One, Josh Strife Hayes is aware of shops and how they work. Two, he's clearly literate enough to have read the description for robot junk and intuit that it is sellable garbage. And three, that he knows that there's third-party guides that document the game, its glitches, and its community, written by the community, specifically because stuff like this goes on. And it has a solve. And he does solve the problem. So when he says anywhere in material in the first or second video, well, that new player onboarding shouldn't require guides. My brother in Christ, you're reading them right now for the video you're currently making. That you're engaging with bad faith, knowingly and intentionally. This is no longer a video about, oh, you know, he's just mean to Anarchy Online, a game I like, and becomes, he's a bad content creator. Josh Strife Hayes is no longer being honest about a game, he's actively slandering it, and it makes me question if he does this about everything. Is every game he's ever talked about this much active slander? Was his Diablo Immortal takedown active slander? Did his entire career come out of him knowingly and deliberately misreporting games intentionally because he's a shit content creator and a bad person? Well, he's British and I'm an American. So I'm going to say probably.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now.
So we know Josh is willing to lie about the game. We know he's willing to misrepresent it. And we know he's willing to break it on purpose just so he can complain about it. This isn't even a fair criticism. This isn't a bad faith criticism. I don't even know what to call this. It's just shit. And we're 12 minutes into the video. At 13 minutes and 25 seconds, he says specifically he is...
We get given a cookie to lure them.
This is nitpicking, but it's worth noting here that the cookie has to be purchased in a shop through an exchange of money for cookie. Another indication that he does know how shops work and is willing to buy the things in them. So he could have sold his robot junk and never forced his overflow window glitch. See, you do have to force it. He did have to knowingly fill his inventory with garbage and then break the game and then complain that the game broke. No, you're a shithead and a dick face for doing that. 18 minutes, 25 seconds.
Anarchy Online, well, I just hope you enjoy the subway, because you're going to be here a while.
I find that to be peculiar because you don't have to go to the subway. No one makes you go to the subway. You are not told explicitly to go to the subway. You chose to go to the subway. That's on you, buddy. I don't know. You're choosing to spend a lot of time in it. Game's not making you. Had you picked a side in the Omni versus Clan war, you would have known that there's other things to do and other people to talk about and other places to go that aren't the subway. Now, you do show the ICC Connect to leave the shuttle port, but what you don't show, and let's just, I rolled a second character here to show you this. Let's just zoom this camera around. Oh, what is this over here? Yeah, it's an entire conflict. The thing you're literally not showing your 400,000 viewers, Mr. Hayes, is the whole plot of Anarchy Online. Now we're getting into the fact that not only are you breaking the game to complain about it, not only are you acting like a new player would ignore this, not only are you pretending to be illiterate, even though you're also reading guides, you're actively, knowingly, and deliberately not showing your audience the plot of the fucking game so you can complain that there's nothing to do.
Nice trick, liar.
At 20 minutes and 20 seconds, you say that a gun you looted has too many skills needed. Those are actually attack skills. So when you equip it, the gun gives you special actions to make special attacks. You would know if you read anything, but you didn't read anything. At 23 minutes and 10 seconds, you say you have to grind the subway. This is materially untrue.
Finally, I just accept that I need to grind the subway.
This Fat Neo is currently doing a mission. You wonder what I've been doing this whole time? I've been shooting red farts at enemies because I'm doing a mission. These are instances. You can just do them whenever. This character has never been to the subway. Not once. I haven't fucking stepped foot in that shit, and I also don't like it, but I also don't go there. None of my characters go to the subway. I don't bother with the subway. I think it's claustrophobic. I like running around and exploring the world, and I can do that. The game has not made me do the subway. You don't have to grind the subway. I'm not even trying to grind the subway. This is where you go, well, but the loot is better. There's 200 levels. The game caps the subway at 25. You don't need to go there for loot if you don't want to. If you want better loot, fine. Be my fucking guest, but at no point are you forced to do this. At 26 minutes and 55 seconds.
Anyone who tells me Anarchy Online is amazing has to answer the question, then why does it start with several hours of killing dogs in a subway?
And since you asked, Josh, I will answer. It doesn't. You chose this. This one's on you, buddy. I'm out in the running around. I'm running around doing missions in the overworld and getting a cup of coffee at the cup. You're fucking grinding the subway, man. I have no idea. At 27 minutes and 24 seconds, you
sense score isn't high enough. Then I beat up this striking worker. He drops his massive steel bar weapon called the Support Beam of Intolerance, but I can't equip it because of all the skills, my psychology skill is too low.
It's not unequipable because your psych is too low. It's unequipable because the item is breed locked to Aatrox, something that's right here in the text window that you would know if you read it, which clearly you did read it. You can read guides. 1224 proved that you can read things, so you could read this. You chose not to read it and then lied about it. You're a liar and a bad content creator, and no one should trust you about anything because this is your level of what I would call journalistic integrity. At 27 minutes, 48 seconds, you said you're running slow for no reason. You're running slow because you're about to die. The game is trying to tell you, trying to convey to you, the player, through the world experience that something has changed and you should pay attention to it and probably use one of those healing items that the drug addicts keep giving you.
The term used a lot for this concept is conveyance, and I think that's a fitting name.
At 28 minutes dead even.
This respawns me outside the sewer. This is a sci-fi game. I want to do sci-fi things.
My brother in Christ, that is the game. This is what mission terminals are. Anarchy Online. If you don't want to engage with the skill system and you don't want to engage with mission terminals, then you're not playing Anarchy Online. You're just not. I don't know what you're doing, but it's not that anymore. You say you have nothing to do standing in front of a doing things randomizer that you will refuse to engage with because you're being a dick. Now, we have to move on to video 2, but only briefly, and then I'll wrap this whole shit up. Thank you for watching. I love every one of my subscriber, and you're all great, Dad. In video 2, you bring up that the color of the skill's name being related to how easy or difficult they are to improve isn't told anywhere in the game, which is materially false. But to your own credit, and in Josh's defense, I will say, in order to know this, you have to read this paragraph in the IP window to know to click the question mark box in the IP window, which will bring up a second help window, which has it explained in this paragraph. Is that too much? Probably.
What do I do? Where do I go? That's what I'm talking about. That's bad conveyance.
So that about wraps it up for every single lie he told, but if you want to see the twist here, it's a fucking coming, and I'm about to blow your goddamn mind. Now, at this point, here is my Discord username, so feel free to call me fat, stupid, and autistic just directly right there. The comments below, I'm not going to censor anything, and I doubt I'll read them unless they're funny, in which case I will heart them. But the twist is coming, and here it is. That list of grievances we went through in the beginning of the game, the things that we talked about as being, not really like terrible, but worth noting. Psych Uno reverse card. This is why I play Anarchy Online in 2025. If you want to know why I re-downloaded this game, rolled 3 new characters, and actually started playing the game again, yeah, sure, Josh reminded me about it with his video, and to that extent, thanks, dude. But his list of complaints are actually what I like about it. Let's recontextualize this list. Class descriptions aren't even close to how much the classes can really do. This is true. You could do a 20-minute video on any one class and discuss at length the breadth of what that thing can do at the early and mid game before you even talk about like late game optimization. Every class has nuance and sub-nuance because the skill system accounts for such a wide variety of builds. Josh got conflicting information, put 20 hours into the game, and didn't even buy a single martial artist attack because every guide told him to do different things. And they told him to do different things because all of those things are viable. You don't have to do exactly what the guides tell you because there's different ways to do this that all kind of work to their own strengths. Anarchy Online does not use modern game design language. It came out in 2001. It predates World of Warcraft. It doesn't try to be WoW. It never tried to be WoW. It's a wholly unique MMO by itself. And to date, I don't know of a single game, MMO or not, that has that weird spreadsheet manipulation crunch feeling that Anarchy Online has. I don't know of any other game that plays around with the sort of late stage capitalism hypercorp sci-fi vibe that Anarchy Online does. I just don't know of anything else that captures the vibe that it has. And he did say the vibes are good, so credit where it's due. He's not wrong. There are huge text dumps to explain the game. So if you like reading, you're going to read a lot. It actually, unlike a lot of these like lore drops that are very boring to read because it's some guy yammering on about whatever, 90% of the text in AO is either very, very concise or hyper informative. It's worth reading. Guides are interesting. There's a lot to unpack and all of it's kind of useful for you. It's not just fucking minutia about some guy's day. Or like, oh, did you know that in Oblivion, there's day-night cycles for the NPCs? You could go into their bedrooms and read their fucking diaries and learn about a bad dream they had. I don't need that. I don't want that shit. But if I'm going to read menus and learn slash commands, I'm actually reading shit that's helping me play the game better. And by reading the shit that's helping me play the game better, you see, it's called conveyance. I think that's a pretty fitting term. And it inspires me to want to read more stuff in the game because it all starts to get pretty useful. I love the text dumps. The world map is giant and it is connected on varying different levels, and there's no explanation on where you have to go or where you can do or what you need to do. This is pure player choice. This is the anarchy of Anarchy Online. You can do anything. The downside is that there's nothing specific you have to be doing at any given time. There's a massive amount of skills to level, but also to tweak and to modify and to adjust and to chase. And your build is going to be, unless you're following a guide, different than just about every other build. Your character in AO will be unique to you. And that is kind of nuts. The game is designed to be played in a group, even at the class level. If you and a friend roll the same breed and the same class, you can still have wildly different experiences because once the mid game hits, your IP dries up. So what you're choosing to specialize in with your IP and your implants is going to define what you are good at. And everyone can be good at different things at those levels. Makes the game feel diverse and robust. And it rewards people for playing together and making up for each other's weaknesses, but also allows a lot of option for what those strengths and weaknesses even are. As Josh says himself, the customization in this is so deep, it's overwhelming. The implant system, which I do think is a huge strength, is not just 13 implants with 3 skills attached to each one, but you can custom build them to fit your exact build style. And sometimes you might have 2 or 3 sets of implants based on the thing you want to do or want to be good in the moment. The implant system is so in depth and malleable that it allows for crazy amounts of progression, like implant laddering, which you don't have to get good at, but can. And lastly, it's called Anarchy Online because the game doesn't tell you what to do. Whether you want to roll open missions, whether you want to follow the open air dungeons, whether you want to be a corpo overlord or a freewheeling clan or roleplay or meta play or just shoot snakes in the forest, you can kind of do whatever you want. And it's that amount of freedom and open direction and player ability and lack of forcing me to adhere to a meta pathway that makes AO, above all else, a unique experience. Why Anarchy Online in 2025? Because nothing else is like it. And Josh Strife Hayes is a liar.
Nice trick, liar.